First of all, very good morning, afternoon, everyone, and I'm very thrilled to welcome you all to this session on Amazon Quick. My name is Abhi, and I'm a senior business analyst at Amazon. I have been working for Amazon's transportation department for over 3 years now. As we go through this session, I encourage you all to think how you all can leverage Amazon Quick into your day-to-day work. Let's quickly look at today's agenda. So we will start with topic 1, which is just a general introduction about Amazon Quick. What even is Amazon Quick and why should we even care about? In topic 2, we will go over the business problem that our fictional transportation company is facing. We'll go over these 3 use cases that the company needs to solve. Topic 3 is about the solution. We will learn how did the fictional company actually solve their business problem using Amazon Quick. And finally, we will wrap it up with topic 4, where we will focus on live demo. Here, we will learn how to prepare and configure Amazon Q topics, after which we will also learn how to develop dashboards using natural, plain, simple language. Then we will also build our knowledge bases with spaces, and then we will connect it to our chat agents. Also, we will set up automated threshold-based alerts using flows. So this will be our agenda for today. Without wasting time, let me quickly jump on to the introduction. So let's start with what even is Amazon Quick. Right. So Amazon Quick is a generative AI assistant for business intelligence. Think of it as your AI teammate that understands all your business context. It can help you code faster. It can help you write smarter. It can interpret your complex data, all while staying grounded to your organization's context and your team's data. And this makes it really powerful. Then you must ask, why should we even use Amazon Quick? Right? The simple answer is it will save you time and boost your productivity. Like if I have to give you an example, just think of your typical day, right? How much time do you spend understanding the data, creating reports, or trying to explain complex metrics to stakeholders? Amazon Quick can significantly reduce that time and make your life easier. Let's move on to the business problem now. So we have a fictional transportation company called Transco Logistics. It's a regular mid-size transportation company, just like any other transportation company. They have their own drivers, routes, yards, and customers. Right now, Transco Logistics is facing a troubling pattern. HR department is raising concerns that drivers have lapsed their certifications. Operation team reports that their on-time delivery rates have dropped. Finance is flagging that their fuel costs it's going up, right, year over year. And in essence, the company is bleeding. Right? They are experiencing 3 simultaneous problems: rising costs, declining in their on-time delivery, and driver compliance gaps. Seeing these 3 big problems that the company is facing, leadership calls for an emergency review, right? But no one can explain why is it happening. No one can explain why, right? Getting to why is a big challenge for the company now. So imagine you are a VP and every time you ask for answers, someone says, give me a week to analyze. So this is so frustrating, right? Like, why can't we get the answers faster? So let's understand why Transco Logistics can't get their answers faster. The core problem isn't lack of data. The company does have all the data in-house to find answers. So now you all must be wondering, if the data exists, then what's the problem? Why can't the company get their answers sooner? So this brings us to the core problem, which is data fragmentation problem. Information is everywhere, but answers are hard to get quickly. Let's understand this term. So Transco logistics data is spread across three different domains. First domain is the HR department. HR department possesses companies' drivers information, such as their driver's name, their licenses, their training information, and this is in a database, which means it's a structured data type. HR department also have policies, such as Department of Transportation policies that the drivers must adhere to while driving, or escalation processes for drivers with expired licenses. And these are PDFs, right? These are unstructured and semi-structured data. They also have an operations department. Operations department has route and fuel data. Now, this is crucial for the company because if with this data, company can create optimized routes for deliveries. And again, operation have their own policies and guidelines and SOPs. They have a third department called customer and delivery department. So this department covers the full shipment lifecycle data, including delivery status, customer satisfaction rate, so on and so forth. And again, they have their own policies and documentations. So imagine now when leadership asks how many deliveries were late due to bad weather and what is our customer refund policy for those cases. Now this question can actually be split into two parts, right? The first part is how many deliveries were late due to bad weather. We will get these answers from the operations department database. The second part is what is the refund policies for those cases? And this answer we will get from customers department policies. So I think we all can agree we deal with this same challenge every day, right? Answers are not straightforward because it takes time to connect the dots between departments, policies, unstructured and structured data. So I reiterate again, information is everywhere, but answers are hard to get quickly. So now every time leadership asks for a simple question, the analytics team need to manually pull the information from each of these departments, structured and unstructured data, reconcile them together, analyze them, build a report, and then finally present their findings to leadership. And this whole process actually takes time, right? And by the time answer arrives, it's already too late. The window to act has already passed. So how do we solve this data fragmentation problem for transport logistics? We solve it by centralization. We bring in all their data sets, policies, SOPs, documents, all of this in one centralized place. And this will act as a knowledge base for transport logistics. Now this knowledge base then can be connected to a chat agent. So it can act as a self-serve capability and we can get any answers instantly. So now the question is, how do we create this knowledge base and how do we create this chat agent? We do this in 4 simple steps. And yes, I said simple because it is actually really easy to do this using Amazon Quick. Right? So let's start with step 1. Step 1 is collect and enrich the data. We start with all the raw data sets the company has, like driver compliance records, route logs, driver delivery tracking data. We then clean them. We fill the gaps. We add numerical columns so it is data analysis ready. Now, remember, this is the foundation layer, right? We all know the term garbage in, garbage out, and we really don't want to be in that situation. So we make sure our data is clean and accurate before anything else. Step two is building dashboards and queue topics. So we create queue topics on top of each data sets. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, so we create queue topics on top of each data sets. Queue topics are really powerful because they lead. I'm sorry. I think the room where I'm sitting, it has a lot of dust particles, but yeah. All right, coming back to our topic. So we create queue topics on top of each data sets. And queue topics are really powerful because they let you use natural language using which we then create dashboards. And we can create these dashboards without even writing a single line of coding. Once we have created our queue topics and dashboards, we'll move on to step three. And step three is all about bringing everything together in one centralized place. A space in Quick is like a curated knowledge hub for your entire operation. We put everything inside it, like all the clean data sets, dashboards, all queue topics, and this is what that makes it truly powerful, that we can also put every policies, document, SOPs, reference guides, training documents, everything that governs how Transco operates. Once we have created this space, we will connect it to a chat agent. And now any leader can ask any questions on this chat agent and get their answer in seconds. So basically no analyst downtime, no waiting period, just answers. Now, let me quickly jump to demo to show you how we can do these 4 steps. Right? Let's start with step one. Step one is all about cleaning the data. I won't go too much in detail into this, but just some very high level good practices. So if we see here, the column name is OID. As a human, I can't understand what OID is, right? So how do we expect an AI to understand it? So we need to make sure column names are more as much descriptive as it can be. For example, order ID, right? Customer name versus cust n. And if you see the total cost here, even though they are numbers, we have dollar symbols in front, which when we upload it to Quick, it will be considered as string values, which we don't want. We will face problems while aggregations, right? So we want to make sure we have accurate data format. So for example, here in total sales, these are numerical columns. One more good practice I can tell you is we need to make sure the calculations and joins are handled in the upstream data itself, like in the database, Redshift or Athena. We should avoid creating calculated fields in the quick site itself, right? So you can go over all these good and bad examples and use them to clean your data. So as you can see, I have already created queue topics. Again, due to time constraints, I won't be able to go through the whole process, but we have in-depth video that we have linked in the learning resources. So just feel free to go over this video and you should be good to create queue topics for yourself. So once you create queue topics, it will look something like this, right? And similarly, I have created queue topics for all 3 datasets. So let me quickly show you all 3 datasets. One of the datasets is driver training dataset. Yeah, so it has all the driver information, right? Like such as driver ID, driver name, when the driver was hired, what are their driver licenses numbers, have they completed hours of training services, right? So everything related to drivers. The second data set we have is the route optimization. So it has all the route information such as route ID, route name, how many miles were driven on that route, right? And what was the fuel cost on that route? And how was the weather when a driver was driving on that route? Was it clear? Was it raining? How was the traffic condition? So everything related to route. Then we also have customer delivery data. which tracks all the delivery information, such as the tracking numbers, the customer name, from where it was shipped and what was the destination, where it is dropped, what was the actual delivery, right? Was it actually delayed or was it delivered on time? You can see this product was delayed, right? So now that we have seen all our three data sets, we will create queue topics on top of each data set. As you can see, I've already created these queue topics. Once we have created these queue topics, we'll move on to creating dashboards using natural language, right? So I can give you one example, but again, it is in more depth in the video that in the resource that is linked in the resources. So I can just show you one quick example. If you click on build data with queue, build visual with queue, let me quickly show you how you can do that. So let's say I want a visual for expired driver's license versus active driver's license. So I will just write a natural language. And you can see it provided me some information and I can just add it to the analysis, right? So that's how you can create any type of visuals you want. You can also create calculated fields, right? Just to show you an example, let's say I want to build a calculation. If CDL days expiry is greater than 30, then those drivers are at high risk and I want to flag them, right? So if I just write natural language and click on build, you see it gave you the coding that you need to actually execute this, right? So you can create uh, technical coding using natural language once you create queue topics, right? So those are the power of queue topics that we should create so we can build our dashboards and calculated fields using Amazon Q. Right. Now, once you complete creating dashboards, it will look something like this, right? And I'll just go ahead and publish this analysis. While publishing this, let's make sure that we allow data Q&A, right? And instead of using data sets, let's use a linked topic because we have already created that topic, right? So I will just link that topic, which is customer driver training. Apply. Oh, sorry, I chose a different topic. So I will link it to customer driver training and compliance, right? Apply changes, allow data Q&A, and publish dashboard. And then once you publish the dashboard, right, it will look something like this. And I have already created all three dashboards. As you can see, this is for driver training. This is for route optimization. And this dashboard is for customer delivery tracking. Now we have completed step 2, right? So now let's move on to step 3, which is bringing everything together and creating a knowledge base. I will just come to the home page of Amazon Quick. I will create spaces because I want to create a knowledge base. I will go ahead and create space. I will give my space a name, which you can actually name it anything. Today I'm choosing to name it as Transco Logistics AI Hub. You can give an appropriate description. Again, you can choose to give any description. Right. Now you can see I can upload files. I can integrate dashboards. I can create knowledge bases. I can do much more stuff here, right? So the goal is to put everything at one centralized place. So let's start with topics, right? Since we have created those 3 topics, I'll just go ahead and add those queue topics. Right, so these are the 3 queue topics. I'll go ahead and add them. And then I also need to upload policies, right? So if you remember, we don't only want queue topics and dashboard, we'd also want all the unstructured policies as well for the company. So I'll just go ahead and upload all the policies. I can just drag and drop. from my local. So as you can see, it is already uploading everything. Next, you can also include some actions. So by actions, I mean, let's say you want to communicate with Slack or Outlook, right? So that also you can integrate them here. So I'll just go ahead and add actions. And for now, I just want Slack and maybe Amazon Outlook to perform those actions. And then you can also add data sets, right? So you can add these 3 data sets for our use case. I am right now, I don't want to add data sets because I already have my topics, right? So with data sets, sometimes let's say the data set is not clean, right? Then we might face problems in aggregations when we ask questions. So I feel topics accuracy is more better because they're more trained and curated, right? So we have given every instructions we want for each column name, and how do we want them to be aggregated. So these are more curated and trained data sets. So, but if you want, you always have the option to include data sets, but right now I'm choosing just to include topics. You can also go ahead and add dashboards. Again, today I will avoid adding dashboards, but if you want, you always have this option. The reason I'm not adding dashboards is, let me give you an example, right? So let's say you have a dashboard and you have a filter on the dashboard for last year. Now, if you ask any questions, you're always limited to that last year. What if I want to know previous 2 years information, right? So I get limited with dashboards. If dashboard don't have any filters, then you're good to go. But if they have filters, then you're limited to those dashboards. So that's why I'm choosing to avoid it right now, but you can go ahead and add dashboard. You always have that options. So if I go to all, you can see, I have integrated Slack, Outlook, I have all the policies here, and then I also have my 3 Q topics, everything at one place. Now, once I have this, I'll move on to step 4, which is deploy AI chatting, right? So I'll go to a quick homepage. I will click on chat agents. I will click on create chat agent. And then it is asking what kind of chat agent do you want, what kind of personas or capabilities do you want. So you can just write, I want a chat agent who does this, that, so on and so forth. But I already have a prompt, so I'll skip that and I'll give the persona. So I am telling the instructions that you are a chat agent, and while analyzing Transco logistics data, always focus on identifying patterns, anomalies, and actionable insights. Right? I want you to be more analytical and present your findings in a structured format. So you can use bullet points for key findings or give me tables. Right? So I'm giving clear instructions of how I should get an output. Once I've given a persona, I'll go to knowledge source and I will link the space that I've created, the knowledge base, right? So link spaces. And I just created this knowledge base, so I'll just link it. And then actions, again, I think we have included Slack and Amazon Outlook. So I'll do that as well here. Slack, Outlook. And then if you want, you can also give some customization. So, if you want to give any welcome message, that right now I'm giving welcome to Transco Logistics AI Hub. I'm here to help you analyze, just a welcome message. Once you are done with this, you can just go ahead and update preview. And it will look something like this, like you just saw, right? The welcome message. And sorry, I just forgot to give the name to my chat agent. So I can just give name Transco Logistics AI chat agent. Update preview. So you see, this is how it will look. I'll go ahead and launch the chat agent. view chat agent details. Right. And then I can just go to my AI chat button here, open chat, and then I can select my Transco logistics. If you want, you can just bookmark it as a favorite, and you're ready to go, right? You can ask any questions. So let me give you a demo what I mean by that. So let's say you can ask, who are you and what can you do for me? So it is telling me that I am Transco Logistics AI chat agent, your AI powered assistant built for Transco Logistics operations. I can provide you information about logistics. I can do operations analysis. I can provide you any KPIs, metrics monitoring. I can create dashboards, data exploration, so on and so forth. Right. So you can see it's starting to generate those AI answers. Now, let's quickly jump on to analytics. So let's say I'm on this dashboard, right? And I want to analyze this. So I'll just again open the chat option. I will select my chat agent. And let's say now I want to know, why is my driver compliance score so low? What main factors are contributing towards it? Why is it so low? Right? So if you want, once you open any dashboard, right, it automatically selects the dashboard. But right now, I don't want my answers to be limited only to this dashboard, because we will do cross dashboard questions. So right now, I'll just disable it. So I'm open to the whole knowledge base, right? So now I'll ask this question. Right. In the back end, it is performing all those analysis and aggregations. So you can see it is giving me your average score is 3.32, which we know out of 5. The key contributing factors are non-compliant drivers. Okay. Which means 35 out of 61 drivers, 57% of my drivers are flagged as non-compliant, meaning they are failing to meet full compliance requirements. Some of my drivers are missing hazmat certifications. 20% drivers, which is amounting to 33% of my total drivers, do not hold a valid hazmat certifications. 5 of my drivers have expired driver's license. Now this is a legal problem, right? Like 5 of my drivers have expired CDLs. So now I know, because I can find the root cause of why my average compliance score is low. Right now, since this is a legal matter, expired CDLs, let's ask more questions, right? So what is the escalation process for a driver with expired CDL, and how many drivers does that apply to right now? Now, to answer this question, we can again split it into 2 parts, right? The first part comes from the unstructured policies, right? And this answer should come from this dashboard. If I just ask this question, it will connect the dots from the policies and this dashboard and give me the answer. So as you can see, it is currently going through the documents, some CDL policies. All right, seems there are 5 drivers with expired driver's license. And what is the escalation process? So stage 1 is administrative hold. Any driver's license that have been expired within 1 to 30 days, those drivers must be put on administrative hold. Stage 2 is suspension. Any drivers that expired more than 3 days, any driver's license that is expired more than 3 days, they must be put under suspension, right? And then the reinstatement process should start after suspension. So now I know the policy, right? And then we can see the affected drivers right now. And it is also giving us an alert that there is a driver called Robert Chen. They have crossed 30-day threshold and they are still active, right? They should be formally suspended immediately. So it is also giving you a recommended next steps that do you want to notify supervisor for Robert Chen? Yes, I want to do that because they need to be suspended right now. They cannot be active, right? So write an email for a suspension notice for Robert Chen and send it to his supervisor. So now if you remember, we included an action where we integrated Amazon Outlook, right? So we can perform that action from here. I don't need to specifically go to Outlook and send an email. It will do this action for me, right? You know, write a notice suspension and send the email. So you can see based on the records, this is the supervisor name. It just drafted a message for me. And then I can tell it to send this via Outlook. Send this email via Outlook to the supervisor. So do you want to send an email? Yes, I can go ahead and send an email. Since this is just a fictional email ID, the email will fail, but just wanted to show you that you can do this action from the chat agent itself. Right. Now let's dive deeper a little bit, right? So now we have these two dashboards. Let's try to connect dots between these two dashboards. So this is route optimization dashboard. So it has all the route information such as the route name, right? And how many deliveries were done on time on this route and were there any late deliveries, right? So now let's try to ask a question connecting these two dashboards. So are there any drivers who are non-compliant on training, which will come from this dashboard and appear on routes with above average late delivery rates, right? This will come from the other dashboard. So you can see it is doing the cross reference that we want, right? Between these two data sets and two dashboards. Right. It gave me the answer that you have 3 drivers in your fleet that are non-compliant on training and appear on routes with above average late delivery rates, right? So you can see I'm starting to connecting the dots to find the root cause so that I can take action to improve the operations of the company. So this is how you can create spaces, chat agents, and dig into finding the root causes and answers. Now, we have learned how to create spaces and chat agents. Now, let me give you a use case for flows, right? So, we have 3 dashboards here, and each of these dashboards have KPI, right? For example, this dashboard, driver training compliance, average driver compliance score is the KPI. The goal for the company is to improve this. Similarly, for route optimization, this is the KPI, which is average route efficiency score. The goal of the company is to improve it again, right? And then customer delivery tracking dashboard, where we want to improve customer satisfaction rating. So Transco monitors 3 critical areas and KPIs, right? These 3 KPIs that I just showed. And leadership or analyst had to manually check dashboards every morning to monitor these KPIs, to check if they have dropped below the acceptable threshold. So this is more of a reactive approach. We need a proactive approach, right? So imagine instead of you going to system and checking these KPIs every day, the system is coming to you whenever a threshold is breached, right? So we will achieve this using Amazon Quick Flows. We will build an automated alert system that monitors this KPIs for us and alerts automatically the moment a threshold is breached. And it can alert us anywhere, any platform, like via Slack or Outlook. So let's go to flows. Let's quickly create flows. So I'll go here and I'll click on flows, and you can go here and click create flows. So again, what kind of flow do you want, right? It is asking you, describe me exactly what kind of flow you want to create. So let's say you want a very clear prompt, right? So I can give you a something like a good practice that I do. So I will ask the AI itself to create a prompt for me. So, what all I'm asking is, hey, can you create me a prompt that I can copy paste in flows? I want to create a flow for threshold alerts. I have these three dashboards, and I want to be notified whenever this metric goes below this threshold, whenever this metric goes below 80%. I've given everything I need, and I'll just select my transport logistics here, chat agent, and then it will generate a prompt for me, right? So I'll just copy paste that prompt. Right, so it created this prompt for me. So I'll just go ahead and copy paste this into a flows, create flow, copy paste the prompt, generate, and then it will start generating that step-by-step flows for me, right? So just to save time, this is how it will look. You will land here, and then you'll go to edit option. You might have to edit few tweaks here and there, but you can see it has provided you these steps, right? So let's go through this step. So the first step is, it is asking to check driver compliance score. Get the average driver compliance score from this dashboard. And I will go here and choose the dashboard. Looks like it has automatically detected the right dashboard. So I'll save. Metric 1 is done. Let's go to metric 2 for route efficiency score. So get the current average route efficiency score from this dashboard, route optimization dashboard. So metric 2 is also done. Similarly, I'll also create metric 3, extract this customer satisfaction rating from this dashboard. Now I've extracted all three metrics and KPIs. Now I will evaluate those thresholds. So what I'm saying is, whenever this compliance score KPI goes below 3.5, notify me. Whenever this average efficiency score goes below 80%, notify me. And similarly for this threshold, I have all the conditions I've given, right? And then I can also connect QuickSight data here. So I'll just go here and link my space, because this data needs to be extracted from the space, right? So Transco Logistics AI Hub, save, right? And then alert processing. How much, like, I want to run it once for now and send email whenever this alert is breached, whenever the thresholds are breached, and then send me an email alert, right, with this email. So you can see it has drafted everything. So I'll just go here and click on run mode. I will start the flow. It is extracting the compliance score now from the driver compliant dashboard. Yeah, as you can see, it just extracted it. For now, it's 3.32. Similarly, it will extract those KPIs from those specific dashboards. And now it is evaluating those thresholds, right? So if you remember those conditions, So my threshold was whenever the driver compliance score goes below 3.5, notify me. And the current value is 3.2, right? So this condition matches. And you can see the status shows as breached. And then it is creating the email for me, email alert for me. And then it is sending the email via actions to my Outlook. Send email. So just to show you, let me bring on the Outlook. So you can see I just received this email, right? So this is an automated alert. It went below threshold for driver compliance score. Please review your dashboard and take appropriate action. So it notified me automatically, right? And what you can do is, now that you have tested it, it's working perfectly. You can go ahead and schedule your run, right? So let's say you want to schedule it every day at 9 a.m. Just schedule it, right? So the flow will automatically run. Check those KPIs and immediately send you an email if there is a breach.